Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to show you how to remap your Xbox Elite controller for Starfield with such functions as AutoWalk and Run, and quick selecting your menu items and Quickslots. Let's get started. So here I am in Rewasd in my main layer. The only face button I have changed is the Xbox Guide button to be F5, which is Quick Save button. Starfield allows you to use your keyboard and controller about at the same time. So this allows us to do these features which we couldn't do in Fallout 4 because that you could not use them. Once you started using the controller, it kind of locked out the keyboard and mouse and vice versa. So I'm glad they added this feature which makes the controller even more viable for this game. So anyway, that's all I have set there is quick save. On the back is where I have my shift keys. So I basically have jump on this one and crouch, but I have my menu shift key so I can quick select my menu items and quick slots. And then I have my auto movement shift key, which does a different set of commands. So let's start with the menu shift key. This one, on a normal click, I'm going to do a shift mode, and then I'm going to jump to layer menus and quick slot, which I have renamed up here, and which is, I have movement and quick slots. Basically, if you go up here and right click, you can rename it, and that's what I did, so that makes it a little bit clearer than just slot 1 and slot 2. So go back to here with shift mode. Basically, I'm saying as long as I hold this button, I'm going to activate that other shift mode so I can press those keys and then let go and it'll be off of it. Back to my main layer, which is important because you don't want to get stuck not knowing which layer you're in. So we'll go to the menu and quick key layer. And inside this one, I have my D-pad set up to get to the various menus such as inventory, missions, map, and ship. And basically, here's how this is set up. You just want the normal click to be I for inventory, and then you want to click these mute buttons, which basically says mute the previous layer's functions, because usually in Rewasd they will carry forward. So basically all I'm saying is I only want this I button to register. Everything else, don't do. Just make this I. When I press it, press the I key. Boom. Same for all the different menu items. Now if you want to do the quick slot items, I use my face buttons. So I have A on a single click, I remap it to 1, and on a double click, I remap it to 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, and then 11 and 12, which is your left bracket and your right bracket. So single click there, double click for that bracket. And the only other feature I have is save replay. So that's an NVIDIA recording feature. So that way, when I click that with holding the shift key down, it will automatically record the last 30 seconds of gameplay. So that's it for menu and quick slots. And I'm going to go over these inside the game so you can see how all these work. The last thing, which is the auto movement. This took me a little bit to get right because like I said earlier, that since you can use the keyboard or mouse, if you're using the keyboard and you automatically quick swap to the controller, it will stop the functions of the keyboard. So if I have auto move going and then I click a normal controller button, it's going to stop that. So I had to create another layer to go to, which is going to be all keyboard commands, so I can stay in that mode until I press a certain button. So here we go. So as a normal button, when I just normally click this button, I'm going to use the native mapping as left click, basically sprint. So when I click this button once, I'm going to sprint in the main game. If I want to do auto movement, then I'm going to double click. And this is a double click, so double press, and so I'm going to click the shift mode here. And then I'm going to jump to my movement key, and then I have custom. Basically says I'm going to set a specific key on that other layer to stop my auto movement and go back to the main layer. And since I want this to also toggle my auto run or auto walk, I have to set the Rewasd mapping to numlock, which is the default keyboard command. So when I double click this button, I'm going to start auto walking, and it's going to swap to my movement mapping. And over here, here's where I have everything set that I want to map to keyboard commands. So normally when you're using the controller, you use the right stick to control the camera, up, down, left, right. Well, you can't do that normally, so you have to set these to be keyboard commands because like I said earlier, numlock to auto run because there's not an auto run controller command, it's only a keyboard command. So any kind of native controller button you press, it's going to stop that auto run process. So all these buttons that you're going to use for navigation or running have to be keyboard commands. sense. So as you can see, I have this set to mouse up, and I'm muting the button. Once again, remember that's mute, so it doesn't think it's an analog stick, because otherwise it'd do the analog stick up and the mouse stick up, and then it'd break everything. So make sure all these buttons that you want to use have the not symbol. So mouse up, left or right, down, and left. So that way I can easily toggle or run any direction that I want. The A button is where I have set up the shift stop mode. So when I want to stop auto run and take control over myself, I press the A button, then it swaps back to the main layer. And then I have my crouch, I have to change that to the keyboard key, and then the jump as well. I've kept that as quick save, and these buttons, just in case I accidentally touch them. You could do this for all the buttons. You don't want to accidentally touch and stop auto run, but for some reason I just did those. And then back here for the back buttons, remember I had those as jump and jump before. This was crouch. I don't have crouch there. I probably need to add that. But anyway, I have this as L shift. So num lock is auto walk. If I want to run, since that consumes oxygen, I want to make that a button instead of always have that on. So that's why I made this L shift. So this will cause me to run while I'm in auto walk mode. And once again, once I want to get through with auto walk, I need to press this A button, and that will stop. So let's go see how this works in game. So now I'm in Starfield. All right, let me see if I can get the buttons to show. All right. So on the right here, here's all the different overlays. So you can see it doesn't really highlight what I'm doing, but I'm going to kind of talk to what I'm doing. So here we go. I'm just normally walking. So I'm going to normally sprint. So I'm going to click the sprint B, which is the bottom left, the paddle. Now I'm sprinting, not doing anything. Now I want to auto run. So I want to double click it. Double click it. As you can see, my movement is set. It changed my overlay to movement. I don't know why that mouse is up showing, but it is for some reason. It normally doesn't when I don't have this overlay on. So now you can see I have auto walk on. I'm not touching my left control stick, and I'm moving left and right and up and down. And I jump and I can do all these functions. All right, I'm ready to stop auto run, so I hit the A button. Now I'm back to the main layer. Now I can do whatever I want. All right. Once again, double click it. It changed that. Now I'm moving everywhere I want to go. It's easy to do. I remember the right stick, as you can see, is, so now I'm auto running. Once again, my left thumb is not touching the analog stick. It's automatically doing it for me. You stop running, I'm about out of oxygen. I've got to where I want to go. I want to stop auto run, so I click the A button. Nice feature. When you get older, I don't want to press the L stick up. You do a lot of running, so why not make the game make it easier for you? All right, so now let's say I want to go to my inventory menu. So remember, I have that one shift key, so I'm going to press it, press up on the D-pad. Now I'm in inventory menu. If I press that same function key, or I back, now I'm back in the game. If I want to go to my map, I press that key and press down. Now I'm in my map. Press it again to go back to the game. So now let me select a different weapon. So if normally I'd have to press the keys. Now this is pretty fast. We'll go to Rescue Axe. Rescue Axe, I press that. But let's say I'm way over here. So now, if I want to go back to the axe, I can hold down that button and hit the A button, which does my first select. Boom. A little bit faster. Health. Basically, I'm just holding that shift key and then the different face buttons. And then double clicking to use different functions. So I think that's maybe a little bit better than using this, although this is pretty fast and it does pause the game. But if you have these set up the way you want them, it's just a lot quicker to quick select them. So that's the thing, like if I have auto run turn on and I hit the up analog stick, oh, remember it turns it off because I sent a native controller function. Now when I go left and right, I'm still in that mode and it messes stuff up. So if I click the A button, now I'm back in the main layer. That's the only thing that can get a little bit confusing. So for this reason, I never use auto run when I'm in combat. So if you think you may accidentally double click that button to auto run, you can set that for a triple click. That way you won't be stuck doing something weird or getting a weird layer set up. But anyway, that's my quick video on how to set that up. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. And if not, I'll see you out in space.